What is up, trainers? After close to 26 years of trying to be the very best like no one ever was, Ash has finally retired at the old age of 35-ish, but doesn't look a day over 12. To celebrate his retirement, I've decided to consume everything Pokemon related. I've played the games, I've read the books, I've seen the movies, and now it's time to watch all the anime episodes. And yes, I'm going over every single individual episode of the anime series. Now keep in mind, the final numbers for what I have as all the episodes of Pokemon, what the official Pokemon Company has, what Wikipedia has, what some of fan Wikipedias have, are all different for various reasons. We'll go over some of those differences as we get to them, but just know that my list is the definitive de facto list of every Pokemon episode, and there is no argument about this. And what I came to was a total of 1,234 episodes, so not that much. Oh yeah, this video is probably way too long anyway, so let's just jump right into it with the episode that started it all.
You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokémon! Gotta catch 'em all! Gotta catch 'em all! Pokémon! Pokemon, I choose you!
So here it is, the first episode of the Pokemon anime, released in Japan in April of 1997. Which, fun fact, is the same year and month I was born in, so yeah, when I say I've known Pokemon my whole life, I mean it. Now before we begin talking about the show, we of course have to talk about the theme song, the most important part of any TV show when you're a kid. And what do I have to say about the original Pokemon theme song? It's iconic, it's a classic, everyone knows it. If you don't know or don't like the original Pokemon theme, then why are you even watching this video? In the inaugural episode, we meet Ash Ketchum, a 10-year-old kid who is about to go on his Pokemon journey, as all kids do when they reach that age. But he oversleeps, and instead of getting one of the 3 classic starters, he instead gets a Pikachu that doesn't like him or staying in its Pokeball. But after the two are attacked by a flock of Spearow, Ash shows his dedication to his new friend by protecting him, and the two start one of the best friendships in anime, and the episode ends with Ash trying to get Pikachu to a Pokemon Center to heal him after being attacked. So I was shocked how well this episode still held up. It does a great job of establishing the world and characters like Professor Oak, Ash's mom Delia, and even Misty is in this. For some reason I thought she didn't appear until episode 2. But of course the best part is it introduces the man, the myth, the Giga Chad legend himself, Gary Oak.
You got your first Pokemon?
That's right, loser!
But I do think this episode does a great job of establishing Ash as the main character and someone you want to watch and root for. But I think this episode shows off Ash the best. We see from him oversleeping that he may not be the smartest or the coolest, but he has a good heart and he really loves Pokemon, and seeing him defend Pikachu really makes you want to root for him. It's also very strange seeing Ash and Pikachu fight, considering, for the next 1,200 episodes, they are inseparable. Great first episode.
Pokemon emergency!
So this episode introduces us to some of the longest recurring characters in the anime. We got Officer Jenny, Nurse Joy, and yes, Jesse, James, and Meowth of Team Rocket. I don't like Team Rocket. If you see my other videos, you know I don't like that children's anime have so many catchphrases and slogans, and the longest running one in Pokemon is the Team Rocket motto, which we hear every episode. Great. Anyway, the episode is mostly Ash getting Pikachu help at the Pokemon Center, but Team Rocket shows up to try to steal all the Pokemon. But thankfully Pikachu heals in time to send them blasting off again. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Also, Misty arrives at the center, where we get a proper introduction to her. And since Ash ruined her bike in the last episode, and you need to win the lottery to get a bike in the Pokemon world, she starts following Ash until he can pay her back. Now, the episode itself is good. I do like that Ash had to use his wits to figure out how to beat Team Rocket, not just sending out a Pokemon, and weirdly, Team Rocket came off as a threat in this episode, something I know from memory will not continue. One thing I definitely noticed, it's the first few episodes, but you can tell the voice actors have not gotten used to their roles yet. They all sound very uncomfortable.
Oh, my Pokedex! I didn't realize it was also my ID!
The dub is of course done by the legendary 4Kids, who is not that bad, you haters. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how they warm up to their roles, considering I know that they'll be dubbing this series for quite a while. Hopefully it gets better.
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples within our nation.
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Jesse.
James.
Team Rocket, blast off at the speed of light!
Surrender now or prepare to fight.
Meow! That's right!
Ash catches a Pokemon!
You'll never guess what happens in this episode. Guess. Guess. Guess! Going through the Viridian Forest, Ash catches a Caterpie, and Misty couldn't hate it more. Also, Ash manages to catch a Pidgeotto, and after sending Team Rocket blasting off, the Caterpie evolves into Metapod. Now, this episode's okay. It's mostly exposition to teach kids about catching Pokemon, evolving, and even type advantages. Yeah, not much to say. It's also the first time Ash does that thing where he turns his hat backwards when he throws his Pokeball. I bet we all did that as a kid.
Put that slimy thing back in the Pokeball! Bugs are one of the 3 most disgusting things in the world!
Aside from you, what are the other disgusting things? And now, Challenge of the Samurai!
So this is probably one of the more infamous episodes of Pokemon because it features 2 kids in the woods making each other hard. They're Pokemon. Ash meets a samurai traveling in the woods, and the two battle with their Metapods, but when Team Rocket shows up to do some thievery and a Beedrill attack, Metapod evolves into Butterfree to save the day. So this is the first instance we get of what is referred to commonly as a Character of the Day episode, at least according to all the things I found. This is basically when an episode has a character that was made for that episode, and then we never see them again. And yeah, besides the hard stuff, it's just an okay episode. I mean, that's really the most memorable part. I gotta say, I do like the show's use of visual humor in this, with Misty and Pikachu starting to sunbathe as Ash and Samurai's battle goes on forever because they keep using Harden. But yeah, that's about all I remember from this episode.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. You have to weaken a Pokemon before you can capture it. Let's go, Pikachu! Showdown in Pewter City!
So we finally arrive at the episode that introduces my favorite character in Pokemon, Brock Blue Balls Johnson. That's his official name. This episode, Ash and Misty arrive in Pewter City, and Ash finds out about the Pokemon League, a huge tournament, but to enter he has to earn 8 gym badges from gym leaders across Kanto. Luckily in Pewter there is a gym leader, Brock, and Ash loses to him. Okay, but after some training and luck he still doesn't beat him. Okay, but Brock is a bro, and gives Ash a badge on a technicality. And then starts traveling with him to fulfill his dream of becoming a Pokemon breeder. Well, I like the episode for introducing Brock. It's, again, just kind of an alright episode. Now, for the future, I'm not going to go over any battles in the series, especially early on, and it's mostly the standard reuse animation for kids' cartoons. I'll point them out, they're interesting, but yeah, if you watch me skip over a gym battle or some epic story battle or something, that's probably why, because it wasn't that good. I do kind of wish the episode went more into Brock's deadbeat dad. He eggs on Ash and even helps him train and apparently abandon his family at some point, and it's treated mostly as a joke, like, oh yeah, his dad who abandoned him is back now, so Brock hands the gym and all the family responsibility to him. I'm sure some special will expand on that, I guess.
My father.
Huh? You mean you're the good-for-nothing father who left home and never came back?
In Clefairy and the Moonstone, the gang travel through Mount Moon and meet a researcher Seymour, and he explains how the Clefairy and maybe all Pokemon come from space. And Brock catches a Zubat.
The water flowers of Cerulean City!
The gang arrive in Cerulean City, and the 3 separate to all do their own thing. Ash, of course, goes to challenge the gym, but the 3 sisters there don't really want to battle, as the 3 other kids from Pallet Town who left before Ash, including Gary, beat them all and really bad, so they lost motivation. Luckily for Ash, it turns out Misty is the 4th sister of the Cerulean gym, who left due to reasons I am sure people in the comments will tell me about. The 2 battle, but are interrupted by Team Rocket, who tries to steal the water Pokemon. After saving them all, Misty decides to give Ash the badge, even though their battle was interrupted, and the 3 heroes continue on their journey.
Yeah, well, they say some kids like to write silly notes on these signs. What's it say? Gary was here.
In the path to the Pokemon League, the gang meet a guy named AJ running an unsanctioned gym who puts his Pokemon through tough training. In the School of Hard Knocks, they meet some pussy kid getting bullied at a prep school and help him by beating the girl that bullied him. Also, this episode has a reference to France, like real-life France, which should be Kalos in the Pokemon world. Sure hope someone got fired for that blood.
Bulbasaur and the Hidden Village!
So here's the thing, I realize some people probably have this video on in the background since it's so long and or are watching it at 2 times speed. And surprisingly, not every episode of Pokemon matters. I know, shocker, right? So as my signifier for there being something important happening in the episode, or maybe just something I would have mentioned or talked about, I'll have the title card read by whoever said it in that episode. And in episodes that don't matter, I'll just go straight into them. In this one, as you can tell by the title, Ash and friends meet a Bulbasaur protecting a small village of Pokemon with some woman Brock tries to mac on. Bulbasaur is wary of them, but after Team Rocket, Ash befriends and catches the Bulbasaur. However, the real reason this episode is important is because this is the episode that gave us the surprised Pikachu meme. We're witnessing history in the making, folks.
All I think about lately is winning. I hope I'm not becoming heartless.
You are always heartless! Charmander, the stray Pokemon!
Yeah, all 3 of them are going to be back-to-back, and I think many of us agree that Charmander's story is probably the best because of how fucking sad it is. As the gang meet a Charmander abandoned by its trainer for not being strong enough, and after it almost dies, Ash saves it and earns its loyalty, becoming the latest member of the team.
Here comes the Squirtle Squad!
Another well-known episode, we meet the Squirtle Squad, a group of troublemaking Squirtles who are tricked by Team Rocket into helping their scheme. after Ash is released to get medicine for Pikachu, who was attacked by a wild Goldeen, and then saving him from Team Rocket, revealing their intentions, the leader of the Squirtle Squad decides to join Ash on his journey.
Super potion, please! Oh no, I don't need a new gun.
In Mystery at the Lighthouse, they meet Bill, and Ash catches a Krabby.
Electric Shock Showdown!
So this is probably one of my favorite episodes of the entire anime. I know we're only 14 episodes in, but this just might stay up there as one of the GOATs to me. Ash, Misty, and Brock make it to Vermilion City, and Ash challenges Lieutenant Surge, who has been destroying challengers left and right. Ash challenges Surge's Raichu with his Pikachu, and loses, with Surge telling him if he wants to win, he must use a Thunderstone to evolve Pikachu. Pikachu does not want to evolve, and wants to prove he can win without evolving. His determination even gets Team Rocket rooting for Pikachu in a surprise twist. And thanks to a renewed conviction and tactics, I guess, Pikachu wins and Ash gets his third badge. First off, why does Surge sound like this?
If you want to become a Pokemon master, you should make your Pokemon evolve as soon as you catch it.
Either way, I love this episode. It's got great tension, build up. You weirdly do side with Pikachu on this and want to see him prove himself. Even Team Rocket, I thought, was funny in this. It's just an all-around good episode to me, and surprising development for Pikachu, something you wouldn't expect initially from watching Pokemon, and I welcome it. I'm glad they give the Pokemon in this show, their own backstories and arcs, like we saw with the starter Pokemon. Makes them feel more like characters rather than, just things you're going to buy the latest toy of next. Honestly, I love this episode so much. This was the episode that made me want to get Pokemon Yellow version as a kid, which became the first video game I ever played. At least it's the first one I remember playing. Banger episode. This should be hung up in a museum.
It's going to fight in the name of all Pikachu!
Really? That's so beautiful!
In Battle Aboard the St. Anne, Ash learns about trading and trades his Butterfree, but then gets a refund. James also encounters the Magikarp salesman for the first time, who will return. Oh, and then the ship sinks, and Ash, Misty, Brock, and Team Rocket are on board. Oh no! In Pokemon Shipwreck, those people I just mentioned try to make it out of the SS Anne, which is at the bottom of the ocean. They do. No one is surprised. In Island of the Giant Pokemon, the gang wash up on an island and are separated from their Pokemon. Team Rocket is also somewhere, but they soon see the island is inhabited by giant Pokemon, but it's actually a theme park that Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, owns for some reason. I guess you gotta diversify your assets.
Beauty and the...
Uh-oh, looks like it's our first banned episode of Pokemon. That's right, sometimes for various reasons, there would be an episode of Pokemon that wouldn't air outside of Japan, and here's our first one. Well, it did air outside of Japan for a little bit. There is an English dub of it, but it was never rerun and never released on home video or streaming, so what was the terrible thing that got this episode banned? James cross-dresses and wears inflatable breasts. I guess that was a big deal back in the 2000s. Yeah, the episode is just a beach episode, even featuring a swimsuit competition, involving a feud between two old people in their beach house restaurants. It was alright, I guess. I will say this is the first time in my life that I have watched the Pokemon episode in the original Japanese. It's pretty weird when you're not used to it, as I'm sure the people who've watched it in Japanese are seeing this one. Now, I'll usually say the Japanese OPs are better than the English theme songs, but yeah, not here, Chief. English Pokemon theme is way better than Miza's Pokemon Master. It's not up for debate. Tentacool and Tentacruel spawned a lot of tentacle hentai that is both a comment on the episode and the fandom. In The Ghost of Maiden's Peak, James and Brock are targeted by the ghost of a girl who steals the spirits of men. How she sucks your soul is the real question here, and how can I find out?
Bye-bye, Butterfree!
Okay, I don't see the big deal. This is another famous episode, as it's the one where Ash releases his Butterfree so he can go mate. Who cares? I never thought this episode was sad. I mean, it's a Butterfree, he can catch another one. Yes, I know it was the first Pokemon he ever caught, and yeah, there's sentimental value there. He even traded it and traded it back, showing how attached to it he is. But he could just catch another one. Why would people even want to catch a Butterfree if you just have to release them later on? Is it worth having confusion that early on? I'm sure as a kid this probably would affect me more, but as a jaded adult, whatever.
I could write a book about the secrets of love and heartache.
I guess that book would be your autobiography.
In Abra and the Psychic Showdown, the gang arrive in Saffron City, and Ash challenges Sabrina, the gym leader, who's creepy as shit, and Ash loses so badly that he decides to go to Lavender Town to catch a ghost Pokemon so he can have type advantage. In the Tower of Terror, after some wacky ghost shenanigans, Ash manages to get a Haunter to follow him so he can beat Sabrina. Then in Haunter vs. Kadabra, what do you think happens? I guess I should mention the Haunter and ghost types from the last episode are more interested in making people laugh, which makes them cool, I guess. We never see them again.
Primate goes banana!
You look kind of down, Ash.
Huh?
Have a donut. That always cheers me up.
Pika Pika!
These donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
Ash catches a primate. In Pokemon Sensation, the group makes it to Celadon City, and Ash shits on some perfume sales lady's perfume for being smelly. He regrets this when it turns out that the lady is Erica, the gym leader, and he's now forbidden to enter the gym. So he cross-dresses to sneak in and ends up winning the badge when he's found out. In Hypno's nap time, Hypno is doing one of those things you know that he's doing if you've seen one of those top 10 creepy Pokédex entry videos. More importantly, this is the episode Misty catches one of my sons, Psyduck. The Chad has arrived. In Pokemon Fashion Flash, Brock tries to flex his breeding skills with another Pokemon breeder, if you know what I mean, and after foiling a Team Rocket scheme, she decides to give him her Vulpix. In the Punchy Pokemon, Ash enters his Primeape into a tournament called the P1 Grand Prix to help a girl with her daddy issues, and Ash ends up leaving his Primeape forever there at the end. Barely lasted 5 episodes. In Sparks Fly for Magnemite, Pikachu comes down with the sickness, and honestly, it's pretty sad and heartbreaking when we find out Pikachu has this fear of being abandoned by Ash and ending up all alone. What the fuck? Oh yeah, and Ash catches Muck in this episode too. In Dig Those Diglett, it's the first dub appearance of Gary, since the first episode he appeared in was in the Band Beach episode. But who cares about any of that? We all remember this episode for one reason, that earworm of a chant the Diglett and Dugtrio sing. It's been stuck in our heads for the past 20 years.
Trio, trio, trio. Trio, trio, trio.
In the Ninja Poke Showdown, Ash meets Koga and his sister Aya, and he gets his 6th badge. Man, he's collecting these fast. In the Flame Pokemon-a-thon, it's a wacky Pokemon race. It's okay. In the Kangaskhan Kid, the gang meet a kid who was raised in the wild by Kangaskhan. And then they leave him there. Cool, I guess.
We need you!
That's right, it's our next banned episode. In this one, the gang arrive at the Safari Zone and help the supervisor protect a rare Dratini from Team Rocket. Why was it banned? Because the supervisor uses a gun. Yes, the gun episode did not air in America. Ironic. Also, it's mainly because he uses the gun, I guess, because there was an episode a while ago where several people pointed guns at Ash, and I guess that was okay. It's unfortunate because this episode does kind of matter, as it's one where Ash catches 30 Tauros accidentally, which is pretty funny, honestly. And the Tauros do come back in the dub, so if you're watching just the dub version, you're kind of confused when Ash all of a sudden uses a Tauros later on. I mean, other than that, it's just another okay episode. In the episode The Bridge Bike Gang, our gang go across a bridge that only has a bike track, so they can deliver medicine to some made-up anime town. The only thing I noted is that this is the first occurrence of Brock blocking, where someone, being Misty in this series, pulls Brock away from trying to smash. And normally I don't like running gags like this, but I like Brock, and in a future season I think it gets really funny, and another season it's really annoying. For now, it's an okay, and so's the episode.
Ditto's Mysterious Mansion!
Okay, this one I want to talk about just because for some reason this is one of those episodes that just sticks in my memory. I don't know why. It's just like, I remember this one so vividly. It's the one where they meet Duplica and her Ditto to help it learn to transform properly because it can't get the face down. Now, I think the reason why I remember this episode so well is that, well, Ditto face, it's iconic, but I also think I had a crush on Duplica as a kid. And there's one thing I do, I like the part where the twerps recite the Team Rocket motto.
Prepare for trouble!
And make it double-double.
To protect the world from devastation.
To ignite all peoples within our nation.
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Ash!
Misty!
And Brock.
Duplica, that's right.
Team Rocket blast off at the speed of light.
Surrender now or prepare to fight all of us.
Pika Pika!
Considering we're barely 40 episodes in, it's kind of surprising they already started making fun of something they do all the time. But yeah, it's just one of those episodes I remembered a lot, so I just wanted to talk about it. Moving on. Okay, so this is definitely the most infamous episode of Pokemon. You guys know when you watch whatever movie, a TV, even boot up a video game, there's a flashing light and seizure warning on them? Well, that's because of this episode. As unfortunately there is a sequence of flashing lights in the episode that, when aired in Japan, gave many people seizures and was never aired or mentioned again after that. Pokemon swept this thing under the rug crazy fast. This episode was so bad and caused so much controversy, Pokemon was almost pulled off the air after this episode was aired. However, thanks to a petition and a bunch of kind words from fans, it was allowed to stay on, thankfully. Can you imagine that? There was a time where Pokemon was just cancelled, barely reaching 40 episodes. Like, it wasn't even halfway done the first season. That's crazy. The biggest offense, though, is that even though it was Pikachu that caused the sequence of flashing lights in this episode, because Porygon is the Pokemon of the day here, most know it as the Porygon episode, and Pikachu, that little bitch, just let Porygon take all the blame just so we can continue being the mascot. So yeah, sorry Porygon fans, like I am. Porygon and none of its other forms sadly ever get an episode about them again, which is messed up. I demand justice! Porygon did nothing wrong. We must clear his name. Oh yeah, the actual episode. It's a ripoff of Digimon, honestly, where everyone goes into cyberspace. Makes sense, they have to copy the better show.
Holiday.
Oh shit, hold off giving that dislike for that Digimon joke. We got another bad episode, back to back. Okay, well this episode did air later, and there is a dub of it. It's a Christmas episode, one of my 3 favorite types of episode topics of all time. And yes, they say Christmas in this episode.
10 Christmases ago, a sweet, innocent, beautiful little girl waited for Santa. What?
That means Christ exists in the Pokemon universe. It's pretty fire. You know what's not fire, though? Racism, which Jinx isn't, I guess, anymore. Yes, Jinx was thought to be a racial stereotype of us blacks with its big lips and charcoal skin. They would fix this in future episodes, as you probably know by seeing how they changed Jinx to a more purple skin tone. I will say, as a Negro myself, as far as you know, I personally never really thought Jinx was a racist caricature, at least not on purpose, so I never really cared. I mean, come on, if Mr. Popo can stay the same, then Jinx should get a pass.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, thanks, Lapras! Don't forget Santa Claus!
And Jinx, too!
Snow Way Out!
Okay, so I don't know if you're following along or looking up these episodes or watching them as you're watching this. I don't know what you're doing with your life. You may notice that around this point is when my episode count and the episode count of other sources start to defer. That's because due to the seizure episode and some band stuff, episodes were rescheduled, reshuffled around, things like that, you know, to change how episodes are aired. But it's Pokemon, so, you know, continuity doesn't really matter that much, so. The episode Snow Way Out is actually pretty good, though, with Ash getting stuck in a cave during a blizzard as he tries to stay warm and survive with his Pokemon. It's a great Ash episode, really showing not just how much he cares for his Pokemon, but how good of a trainer he is when they try to keep him warm. It's great stuff, really wholesome.
Pikachu's goodbye!
So I can say this is the first Pokemon episode I did not like. Ash and Pikachu find a herd of the yellow guys, and Ash wants to leave Pikachu with them, thinking he will be happier. I'm sure as a stupid kid this episode is sad, but as an adult, of course we all know that's not going to happen. So basically this episode is a huge waste of time and tries to emotionally manipulate the audience. It's so stupid, I hate it. In the battling Eevee brothers, oh my god, their hair. Sorry, I didn't know I accidentally turned on Yu-Gi-Oh! They help a kid and his Eevee figure out what it wants to evolve into. In Wake Up Snorlax, well, the title tells you all of it. No, Ash doesn't catch it, that comes later.
Showdown at Dark City!
Okay, this is another episode I just think is neat. Ash, Misty, and Brock come to a town with 2 gyms, and the leaders have been fighting so much it has destroyed the town, so our heroes need to intervene. I have very simple reasons for liking this episode. For one, it features 2 of my favorite Pokemon, Scyther and Electabuzz, and have you heard the Electabuzz anime cry? How is that not win an award in sound design or something? This also introduces Pikachu's love of ketchup. That's a thing. Finally, one of the gyms, I shit you not, is called the Yas Gym.
In Dark City, there are 2 Pokemon gyms, the Yas Gym and the Kaz Gym.
The Yes Gym will wipe you up!
Yes, leader.
10 out of 10 episode.
The March of the Executor Squad!
Ash and friends meet a magician and some Executor, whatever. The most important thing about this episode and why I'm bringing it up is that this is the one where Ash's Charmander evolves into Charmeleon. In the problem with Paris, Ash and friends help a waifu by trying to get her Paris to evolve. More importantly, Ash's newly evolved Charmeleon starts disobeying him.
The Song of Jigglypuff!
Oh no, I mean, yes, this is the episode that introduces another sort of reoccurring character, Jigglypuff, whose singing puts people to sleep and she draws on their face. And after helping Neon City, a city where no one ever sleeps, it begins following our heroes. I wish I had a Jigglypuff so I can sleep easier after staying up watching all these fucking episodes.
Attack of the Prehistoric Pokémon!
Okay, so 2 big things happen in this episode. After encountering Gary and some fossil Pokemon at a dig site, Ash's Charmeleon evolves into Charizard and really won't listen to him at all anymore. Then, at the end, Ash finds the first Pokemon egg in the series. Oh man, I hope it's a Stunfisk. In a chancy operation, the gang, including Team Rocket, help a human doctor treat a bunch of Pokemon involved in a traffic accident. It's not as interesting as that sounds, it's okay.
Holy Matrimony!
So yeah, this Also might be one of my favorite episodes of Pokemon so far. In this episode we find out about James's backstory and that he was a rich kid who ran away from his abrasive and controlling parents and joined Team Rocket after that. And he was right, as his parents faked their deaths to get him to come home just so they could marry him off to a woman who looks exactly like Jessie, which is hilarious. Oh, and the twerps are there too. Now, I'm still not a huge fan of Team Rocket, but this definitely helped because this episode was really funny. I mean, look at this. There's an actual sex dungeon in this show, in James's basement, that James was going to be tortured in. You wouldn't see that shit today in Pokemon, but I wish you did because it's hilarious. Also, I gotta give it up to the voice actors in this episode. Fuck you. 4Kids is awesome. People who hate on it are always like, oh, it sucks. But no, the voice actors, they have done and are still doing great work. Like, just watch this episode and listen to Eric Stewart's performance as James. It's fucking funny.
I can't believe James is gone!
I miss him!
James is standing right here!
Oh, that's right. Huh? I'm all mixed up!
And the fact he also voices Brock too just shows his range. I mean, it's just hilarious stuff. I hope more like this are on the way.
They won't fool that butler.
May I help you, sir?
It's me, James. I've come back.
Welcome home, sir.
And so near yet so far-fetched, the gang in Team Rocket encounter a trainer who uses his Farfetch to steal other people's Pokemon. Oh wow, is Team Rocket hiring?
Who gets to keep Togepi?
Again, the title does most of the work for me. But yeah, it's Misty. Misty keeps Togepi after it hatches from that egg that Ash got in the fossil episode.
Bulbasaur's Mysterious Garden!
Oh hey, it's Bulbagarden. Thanks for helping me keep track of these episodes. Also, Pokemon can press B on their own and not evolve. That's crazy. In Princess vs. Princess, Misty and Jessie compete in the Queen of the Princess Festival, a celebration where the men do whatever the women say. Isn't it like any other day?
How's that different from any other day of the year?
That's what I said. But it's here where Jessie catches a Lickitung, another Pokemon I've seen way too many images of. Safe search is your friend, kids. In The Perfect Hero, the gang encounter a school of children along with a hero Meowth that Team Rocket's Meowth tries to impersonate to steal Pokemon. It's pretty boring. Ash enrolls Pikachu in a school for Police Growlithe and the Canine Caper, but none of them will ever be as great as Growly. Also another gun, but it's okay to show because it wasn't fired. Censorship is stupid.
Pokemon Paparazzi! These rice balls are pretty good.
When you got lemons, you make lemonade. And when you got rice, you make rice balls.
Holy shit, they backpedaled on that jelly donut thing fast. Anyway, in this episode, the gang meet Todd Snap. Yes, the same one from the Pokemon Snap game. But fun fact, he was actually made for this episode and then was later used for the games. Anyway, he's being tricked by Team Rocket to help them steal Pikachu somehow by taking its picture. I don't remember the full plan, but of course they are defeated. And now Todd is actually traveling with the gang. Huh, it's pretty neat. Hopefully he will add a lot of new dynamics and interactions between the group.
I wasn't asking about your camera. I was worried about you.
But you see, this camera is my life.
Get yourself a new life.
The Ultimate Test is actually kind of a funny episode. Ash, Jessie, and James take some test that just lets them into the Pokemon League tournament automatically without having to collect any gym badges. Of course, Ash, after entering, just declines to finish taking it as he wants to do it in his own way. Then why did you try it in the first place?
Here's the first question. Identify this Pokemon.
This is gonna be a breeze for me. It's a Voltorb.
It's a Pokeball, without a doubt.
Obviously, it's an electrode.
And the answer is a... Jigglypuff seen from above.
The Breeding Center Secret!
You know, we've only ever seen Jessie, James, and Meowth. You ever wonder about the other members of Team Rocket? Me either. But in this episode we meet some, Cassidy and Butch, rivals to Jessie and James, as of course they try to steal Pokemon by impersonating a breeding center to help Pokemon. It was okay, the episode just introduces Cassidy and Butch, who will return, and they're okay, I guess. I don't know, my problem with Team Rocket is just, as an organization, it's not shown off very well throughout the anime or movies, so it's kind of hard to care. What we should care about is a sad death. That's right, a death has occurred in the Pokemon anime, as this was the final episode to air a verse of the Pokerap. This was a song that played a different verse at the end of every episode. You put them all together and you have the Pokemon rap. See, back in the day, Pokemon would air 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So at the end of every episode, they would play a different verse of the Pokerap, 5 verses in total. So at the end of the week, you put them all together and you got the full Pokerap song. But not anymore, so to honor it, since I can't play any of it, or even sing it, because Content ID is a bitch, I will now speak the good word of the Pokerap to you. Electro. And riddle me this, Batman. The gang arrive at Cinnabar Island to challenge the gym, but the fight ends on a cliffhanger. Oh my god, what will happen? Oh, he just wins in volcanic panic. Well, yeah, that's to be expected. Hey, Charizard does the seismic toss thing for the first time. That's cool. On to the next, I guess. In Beach Blink Out Blastoise, the gang try to help a herd of Wartortle figure out what's wrong with their King Blastoise. Then Jigglypuff sings and it's all okay. In The Misty Mermaid, the gang returned to Cerulean City to help Misty's horsey get some much-needed exercise. Oh yeah, she caught that in the Tentacle episode. And Misty does her interpretation of The Little Mermaid. It's better than the live-action one. In Clefairy Tales, woo-woo, I guess that guy from the Mount Moon episode was right, because a bunch of extraterrestrial Clefairy are going around stealing stuff so they can make a rocket and go to space. So yeah, Clefairy are from space. They do nothing with this information.
The Battle of the Badge!
Okay, so this is a kind of cool episode, actually. Now, the actual episode is Ash getting his 8th gym badge, and no, he does not fight Giovanni like the games, because he leaves to take care of something else, and of course, leaves Jesse, James, and Meowth in charge for some reason, who lose to Ash, and I guess this is still counts as an official gym battle, so it's acknowledged by the Pokemon League, and why am I trying to make sense of Pokemon logic? The reason why this episode is interesting is that it actually ties into the first movie, where at the beginning we see Gary fight Giovanni, who uses Mewtwo during the fight, and then Gary even warns Ash about it. That's really cool. I don't know many anime series that actually have episodes that tie into their films. I hope they keep doing this in the future. It's a cool way to advertise the next big film.
It's Mr. Mime time!
So this episode is okay. The gang help a circus performer with her Mr. Mime problem, and yes, this episode is where Ash's mom gets Mimey, the Mr. Mime. More importantly, more Mewtwo stuff. 2 episodes building intrigue. I love this. I'm glad they're keeping it up. In Showdown at the Poke Corral, not really much happens. It's just set up for Ash and Gary's rivalry, and we see Mewtwo escape Team Rocket.
The Evolution Solution!
Sign that. Sign that.
Slow walk.
Sign.
Slow
Sign.
walk.
The P-Kahuna!
So I feel like this is just another one of those iconic episodes we all remember, probably because Pokemon references it sometimes with its surfing Pikachu. In this episode, Ash and friends try to help a surfer, Victor, and his partner Pikachu ride the big wave, the Humunga Dunga, which is a great name, so he can plant a flag on top of the highest rock like the surfer Jan. It's pretty good. I don't know, besides surfing Pikachu, it's just an okay episode to me. More importantly, this is episode 69. Oh yeah. In Make Room for Gloom, the gang, mostly Brock, try to help a waifu evolve her gloom with the power of love, but she's in love with some jobber, so once again Brock is accompanied tonight by his dominant hand in a box of tissues. In Lights Camera Quaction, the Twerps and Team Rocket let their Pokemon star in a film. It's okay. This episode does kinda matter though, because...
Go west, young Meow!
In the very next episode, the gang is invited to Hollywood to watch the premiere of the film. Yes, you heard me right. Hollywood. Like actual Hollywood.
You and your guests are cordially invited to attend the world premiere screening of the exciting new motion picture event Pokémon in Love in Hollywood, California.
That's not what the episode is actually about, because it's really about Meowth, as we finally learn his backstory and how he learned to talk. It's because he was down bad. To impress some woman Meowth, he learned to walk and talk like a human. To make a 22-minute episode short, let's just say he did not get the pussy. Also, he just learned by reading books and stuff. Does this mean any Pokemon can technically learn to talk? Why does this children's show never talk about the implications of these things? In Master the Unexpected, the gang meet Bruno, a member of the Elite Four. That's it. In the ancient puzzle of Pokemopolis, the gang try to discover secrets of the ancient city of Pokemopolis, and then giant Pokemon fight. In Bad to the Bone, the gang finally leave for the Pokemon League. They've been in Pallet Town since the Mime episode. And they meet a trainer who had his badges stolen by Team Rocket, but they get him back. And all fired up, the gang arrive in time for the opening ceremony of the Pokemon League, and for some reason they let these 3 goons carry the torch of Moltres to light the starting fire. I feel like you shouldn't give that to random kids.
Round 1! Begin!
Okay, so here we have the first League tournament of the anime. I'm going to generally go by these pretty fast because they're mostly a bunch of Pokemon battles. You know, not really much else happens in them, and I'm not going to go by them play by play for every battle. This video is long enough. In this one, Ash has his first round and somehow wins with his Krabby, yeah, remember that, against an Exeggutor, and his Krabby evolves into Kingler. That's all that really happens. Then in Fire and Ice, he just beats some jobbers we never heard of and never will see again. Gary's doing great though, love that guy, he's such a good trainer, he's gonna go far.
Melissa has won the last-minute upset over Gary Oak for her 4th Pokemon League victory!
Oh, well, I guess he's not that good. However, I want you to notice Gary's demeanor during this loss and after it. For the first time in the series, we see this cocky kid look depressed and contemplative on his loss. almost as if he wasn't expecting it and doesn't know how to take it. This is character development, friends, something pretty infrequent in Pokemon, and it will come back for Gary, so pay attention. Oh yeah, Ash beats some girls Max EV trained Bellsprout, so he moves on.
A friend indeed!
So this episode introduces Richie. As you can tell by his outfit and his Pikachu, he's meant to be a friend/rival to Ash. It's very subtle. The episode does set up the rivalry fine, with Ash and Richie chasing after Team Rocket as the two form a friendship along the way, only to find out they are opponents in the next round. Also, Richie has a thing where he nicknames all his Pokemon, which I like they brought that from the games, wish more characters did it, honestly.
Friend and foe alike!
So after Ash is like 12 hours late to his match with Richie, thanks to Team Rocket, he's still able to battle for some reason. How do you not get disqualified? Whatever, kids anime, don't think about it. Ash and Richie battle. It's a pretty good battle, I guess, with Ash losing at the end. It is funny that the reason he does lose is because his Charizard refused to fight. Which, yeah, sucks we didn't get a full down-to-the-wire battle between these two just-established rivals, but it's kind of fun. But look, we got a long way to go with Pokemon. I think it's a good way to establish how Ash is really just this budding trainer when he can't get all his Pokemon to listen to him when it really matters.
Friends to the end!
Here it is, the last episode of the Indigo League arc. Not much happens. Richie loses in the top 8, the top 3 trainers aren't even revealed to us, and Ash and Richie promise to be friends forever, as Ash, Misty, and Brock, along with Oak and his mom, return to Pallet Town. And yeah, that's it. That's all of the original series of Pokemon, and I gotta say, I rather enjoyed it. It's one of those things I feel I can't say much about, because watching this just made me very nostalgic. I mean, there wasn't an episode I would call bad. Sure, there was one I didn't like, but most of, if not every episode, was entertaining and well made in some way, at least for the time. As you saw, I went through episodes kind of fast, and that's because, yeah, this isn't really a point in time where Pokemon is really, dedicated to establishing, continuity, characters, things like that. It's mostly just to sell toys at the time, so, it's just a bunch of fun episodes, and that's perfectly fine. I like that. But alright, let's keep the hype going by going to the next season, the Orange Islands, which is an arc that the Pokemon team made because the actual second series Johto was running behind schedule.